Hi there, and welcome back to Only the Best Fantasy Novels. My name is Robin, and thank you for joining me today. I want to discuss The Ghosts of Beatrice Bird by Louisa Morgan, which is an author that I've been following quite closely for the last few years. Right out of the gate, she proves that she is not a one-trick pony. I typically avoid reading any marketing, any reviews, anything of that sort before I read a novel that I know I'm going to pick up and read anyway. Just so I can go into it with a clean slate. So I wasn't prepared for the direction this novel took, because to date everything that was written under the pen name Louisa Morgan has been about witches and about her particular take on witches. That's definitely not the case here. So that was a very pleasant surprise right out of the gate. What The Ghost of Beatrice Bird is a tale of two polar opposite women, a very engaging tale of two polar opposite women. They're the products of two completely different natures and two completely different styles of nurture, and they basically form a friendship that allows them both to grow and move past situations in life that break normal people. And I'm speaking about that from experience. Like all of her novels to date, Louisa Morgan's novels to date, definitely on the magical realism side. And it's a much more character-driven novel. The fantastic elements are really only there to push along the story and add a little bit of spice and keep you hooked, keep you engaged. It spans a few decades, actually, from the 1940s to the 1970s. Basically, the life of these women from their childhood all through to the present days, which is, for this novel, the 1970s. It explores quite a few different themes of this time. She touches on family, she touches on religion, she touches on societal pressure, and most of all, abuse. Definitely the big hook of this novel is the fact that the characters are opposites of each other, so it makes for an interesting mirror to see how they react to the situation that the author is in and what they think. I'm not gonna get into. I initially thought about discussing how the nature of these characters, but I don't want to get into too much information. Read and find out. Let's just say it makes for a pretty good contrast. The the fantasy ideas on display in this novel are pretty great too. It the focus is more on a psychic element, which I feel is a great nod towards the 70s, which was a time when the US had these experiments going with like MK Ultra and all that crazy stuff. One of the characters actually uses LSD to amplify her latent gift that she has for what they call the second sight, which allows like hyper intuition into things about the people that she meets or she passes that no normal person can tell without speaking to them. That made for pretty fascinating reading. Overall, this is a fairly short novel. I mean, it's not that short, but like, as someone who tends to read a lot of those big fat epic fantasy door stoppers that could kill small animals, this is short. It's short and it's engaging. I can see it appealing to a wide range of readers. It's definitely a book you can look at if you're more into the magical realism side of fantasy. Like I said, it's a very character-driven novel. It's very feminist, and it touches on quite a few different themes that I think will resonate with feminists as a whole. So yeah, maybe that's the target audience here, but overall, like I said, it's very much a novel that can be read and enjoyed by pretty much anyone. It takes Louisa Morgan's skill as it shows how Louisa Morgan's skill as a writer can make all of this crazy stuff work. So overall for me, this was, a great way to pass a few hours and a good pick for a fantasy story that's not marketed as such, that's dealt with as something that a fantasy novel that's not dealt with as genre in terms of marketing. Is it worth the read? I guess if you're a fan of Louisa Morgan, sure. If you're looking for something a little bit off the beaten path, like I said, character driven, a little more atmospheric. The magical realism is very minimal. It's really only there to push along the story, and it does have themes that will resonate with some readers. I should put a trigger warning in. I should just mention that there are some stuff that can trigger people. So maybe you look into this book before you read it. But yeah, overall, worth the read. I'm pretty happy. And yeah, if you've read this book, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. And if you've made it this far, thank you very much.